Egor Demin is returning to BYU. Now, I can't guarantee that. By the time you watch this, he may have already made his announcement, but he's returning to BYU. Do you understand the context clues? It doesn't take a tinfoil hat to know that the kid's coming back. Before you be like, oh, well, this guy's just hoping. This is one of the biggest stories of the offseason because now BYU is top 5 for the sports books. It odds to win a national championship in college basketball next year. Him coming back is huge. And here's why I think he's coming back. Because if you look at the NBA mock drafts, Egor Demin, who was a massive piece for BYU last year, could come back and play with AJ Dybantsa, loves Cougar Nation. He was at conference this weekend. His girlfriend's there. Cool. But past all of that, if he gets drafted 25th, 26th overall, that's not a lottery pick. That's like, I don't know, measly $6 million your first 2 years. 2 years, $2.5 or $3 million per year your first 2 years. Something in that range in the NBA. Hello, Mr. Egor, Stagor, if I will. Hello. As someone who loves the Big 12, wants to change the face of this conference as not just a basketball powerhouse, but the best basketball conference of all time, as someone who loves when good players stay, as someone who loves the Big 12 is touted, and teams like BYU or Baylor or Kansas or Arizona are good, Mr. Demin, can I tell you, I got some friends in Provo that got some money. Jerem Jordan came on this show and told me BYU, now that it's over the table, BYU at this point can start giving money to players and being like, yeah, everybody, we're rich. Surprise. We don't have to hide it. We don't have to do things illegally. Once we can pay players and the entire world can see it, we're rich. The freshman from Moscow, Russia. This is a kid that I thought when he first got to BYU would be a one and done, and probably could be. Definitely could be, right? He'd be drafted in the first round. But then, now, $2.5 million to go to the NBA, or $3 million from my friend who owns the Utah Hockey Club, or the Jazz, which they play basketball, and Egor Demin does the basketball thing. Stagor sees that. He's like, oh, I can make $3 million to stay at BYU, which I really enjoy. To stay at BYU where the fan base loves me, to stay in the Big 12 where I get to play an elite level of basketball. Dude, if you watch that Houston game, this conference, I would put Houston up against like 3 or 4 of the teams in the NBA, at the bottom of the NBA. Maybe against the Utah Jazz. Sorry. I would put Houston against them, and Egor Demin could come back and play that caliber of basketball. He was an impeccable piece for BYU this year. Fun to watch. One of those guys like Taman Lipsey in conference. I loved watching Taman Lipsey. I loved turning the TV on and watching VJ Edgecombe play for Baylor. Hunter Dickinson is just Hunter Dickinson. I don't know if I loved watching him play, but I would turn it on because Hunter Dickinson's playing for Kansas. Egor Demin was the guy you turn your TV on for. And Dallin Hall leaving opens the door for this monster mountain of a man to be that stretch one, the 4 converted into a 1 that can shoot the 3 now, because during March Madness he proved he could shoot the 3 and he can actually run the offense for BYU. If you want to be a point guard, you can, Egor. You just go out there and do whatever you want there, big guy. And if you want to play down low, you can, Egor. You know why? Because you're really tall. And we're going to give you money, and you like playing here, and you can forego the NBA draft for 1 year and help build a possible championship team at BYU. I alluded to this earlier, and it makes me think there are small birdies that are in ears that have an idea of where he's going. The conspiracy theory grows here for me. I'm not even halfway done. He has an idea of where he's going, and I have an idea of where he's going because the draft books right now, Vegas, has BYU in the top 5 in the country in odds. Houston's body is not even cold yet. It's not even dead in the grave. And BYU is already top 5 in odds to win a national championship. They haven't even been to a Final Four in their history. Someone knows something. Someone knows that a very tall, handsome Russian man might be returning to play the Marriott Center next year. Past that, he's making his announcement at 10 a.m. He posted on his Instagram, said, I'm going to make an announcement, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Be there or be square. Love to see you guys. Who announces? Okay, hear me out. Who announces they're going to the NBA draft via something on live? Who announces they're going to the NBA draft on a television show and then goes on BYU TV? You know why that doesn't happen? You know why they just put graphics out? Because when you announce what college you're going to, there's an entire fan base that roots for that. If you show up to the table and you just pick up a hat that has an NBA logo on it, that doesn't do anything for you. That doesn't say, nobody's getting excited over that. Nobody's like, oh, well, I'm a general fan of the NBA, so I'm excited for Egor Demin, who's declaring himself going to the draft. No, that's why you post a graphic. Because when you do get drafted by the Suns, that's where it's cool. That's where fan base loves you. Otherwise, going live does nothing because now everyone in there is just disappointed you're not coming back to BYU. And then he's not going on NBA TV. He's not going on Bleacher Report. He's not doing a live interview after that. Even on ESPN, he's not doing a live interview after that on Professional Basketball Live. He's doing it on BYU TV with my friends Jerem and Spencer. Do you think that man would go on BYU TV after he just told the entire BYU world, I'm not coming back? I don't think that's going to be the case for a cat who became a staple for the Cougars this year, for a cat who could use it. I don't know. Can I say this? Am I allowed to say this? He could use another year of college. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to see Egor Demin back in a BYU jersey because him being 26th overall, I saw this with Kendall Brown at Baylor a couple years ago, who was supposed to be a lottery pick, ends up kind of bottoming out during college. Not to say Egor did, but he had a couple slow months there. And I would love to have him back at BYU because of the progression he had late in the season. And I think he's a great asset for an NBA team. But I've seen this song and dance where the guy goes in the late 20s and just kind of gets forgotten, goes to the G League for a little bit, and then poof, where'd that guy go? And I don't want to see that for him. Wouldn't it be advantageous based on how you saw him play for a solid portion of this year? Like, look at the splits here. 34.5% on the road shooting, 46% at home. I mean, 11.5 points at home, 8.5 on the road. Like, there's some growing up to do still. Doesn't mean he's not a great basketball player, won't be a great asset going into BYU next year, but that this is going to be good for him to come back. And he gets to play with the number one player in the country, AJ Dybantsa. What more can I offer you, Egor? Take my $3 million, $3.5 million. Play with the number one player in the country. Be the point guard if you want to. Stay at BYU that loves you, and it seems like you love it. That is the perfect combination for a guy like this to say, I'm coming back. And from that point, that's how Houston built, is they got guys to commit to multiple years to stay in the program. That's how BYU's built it in the past, not with transfers. But with guys who say, you know what, fine. Richie Saunders looks around the locker room and goes, oh, shoot. The talent level compared to when he got there has just skyrocketed. Like I said, Dallin Hall transferring is kind of a sign of the times. It's no longer a Dallin Hall-like program at BYU. It's a Egor Demin, AJ Dybantsa program. Those are the guys that are the caliber to play in Provo. Dallin Hall, not so much anymore. BYU is building a super team. And people, they rag on me sometimes like, oh, I got an email, a nasty email from some lady that said I talked about BYU too much. They just keep winning. What do you want me to do, man? Like Egor Demin coming back. They number one player in basketball. Football wins 11 games. Should have gotten more respect for the college football playoff. They just keep winning. Oh, I'm a Utah fan. I listen to Locked On Big 12. I'm sorry. I don't really know how to get away. I don't know how to get around it. There's not a way. This is the number one possible returning player in the Big 12 who is, Flory at Kansas is another one. Badunga at Kansas is another one. They're like, yeah, that could be a game-changing guy. That was a weird, funky deal. But sometimes it's like, shoot, if you want me to not talk about BYU, then make them bad at things. They're just not. They're good at everything now. Lee Cummard, the new women's basketball coach, can turn around that program too, I'm sure. This has been, it always will be. Houston lost. I haven't been the same since. Not even cold in the grave, and we're already talking about next year's national champion contenders. I got a new hat this weekend. You want to see it? It's Tyler Childers' hat. I got it at the Childers show. I like to tell people it looks like a girl hat. Like if I wore it in Arkansas, it'd be a girl hat for sure. Like, you can't really get away with hats like this in Arkansas. People are like, oh, that's a real feminine hat. But in Savannah, Georgia, where I live full time, this is like a hat you can absolutely get away with. It's a guy hat, right? Camo with the blue. Yeah. Country boy. Great concert, man. That dude's voice, vocal controls wild. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Just stuff floating around. Dose Grande.